What's up, guys? Welcome to Spawncast episode 71. We had to pre-record this because three of us will actually be gone this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. Max will actually be at Quakecon, getting some pretty cool footage of different things there. Hopefully see Doom Eternal. And then Sean and I will be at Long Island Retro, right, Sean?
Yep, Long Island Retro Gaming Expo at the Cradle of Aviation Center in Garden City, New York.
Okay, cool. And by the time you're seeing this, it's Saturday, but I believe they have Sunday tickets and stuff, so you can go tomorrow, technically, if you're in the area and you want to see everybody.
And that's when our panel is.
Yes, it's actually, it's Sunday, 12:30 p.m., right? So half an hour past noon, we'll be hanging out and doing something.
Doing something.
Something. We'll be on stage doing something. I don't know what yet, but Sean has a plan, so.
I got a plan.
He has a plan. All right, cool.
Chaos.
We are joined with our guest today is Rax the Great. Rax, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys? I'm actually going to be at Long Island Retro Gaming Expo as well.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of people are actually going to be there. Jordan is going to be there.
Yeah, Jordan, C&D, Gilly is coming. John Hancock's going to be there. Pete Dorr. There's a bunch of people coming.
Bob is coming from the Wolf Den also.
Yep.
He'll be there.
Nice.
So it's gonna be a fun time, I think. A lot of retro games. It's gonna be kind of like Too Many Games, sort of in New York, I guess, is the idea.
More
there.
intimate. Yeah, more intimate,
okay.
Smaller, but
cool. All right, that'll work. Of course, we have Max Dreamcast guy. What's up, man?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream.
Yeah.
Playing a little bit of that secret Shenmue HD, which you can't talk about for a while, but it exists.
He posted a picture on Twitter, and you could tell just through his tweet how excited he was. So that'll be a cool review to see, just because you've been around and such a fan of that series for so long.
Yes, man. I'm going to be trying to do the review, subtracting my fanboyism and actually critiquing it as somebody who's new to the series, because I feel like that's the biggest question I see people saying is, if I played it today and not back in the day, is it still good? So definitely stay tuned for that, because I want to be as impartial as possible.
That'll be fun. And then Evan is here, of course. What's up, Evan? Yep. You're going to be looking at We Happy Few this weekend, right?
Again, since the email we got didn't have the actual information.
We didn't get the explanation on how to unlock the rest of the game or something, and Evan was looking at the alpha build, and now he's looking at the full build.
The build was from like a year ago. Yeah, the build was so bad, but I've played maybe the first 20 minutes of the release build. It's not bad so far.
Oh, cool. All right, very good. Yeah, because there's no embargo now on it, so hopefully it's a bit better. As the one you were basically playing the version where when it would go to darkness or nighttime, everyone would just kind of teleport out and people would teleport in.
Yeah, all the people would vanish. A bunch of would just happened to be there. It was garbage, but this one seems kind of fine so far. So I'm going to try to rip through it as fast as I can.
Okay, that sounds good to me. And then of course you guys already see Sean. He's in the middle here, hanging out. RGT85. So what's everyone been playing so far this week? I know it's technically Thursday, so hasn't been the full week yet. But what's everyone been playing?
Now that I can talk about it, because Top 10 Thursday, by the time this goes live, Top 10 Thursday will be out. But I've been going through, and I did a Top 10 eShop games video this week, and going through and playing a bunch of those. There was just some I hadn't recorded gameplay of, like Sultan Sanctuary, that just technically came out on Switch. And playing through that again on Switch is it's so good. I mean, it's Dark Souls. It's like co-op, side-scrolling Dark Souls. And
I was really happy to see that come out on the Switch. That was actually pretty cool.
It runs so good. That actually kind of surprised me, as I was a little bit worried, because I was like, that game actually has some cool like particle effects. No, it runs perfectly on the Switch.
Yeah, it's pretty neat though. It's a good game if you like kind of difficult side-scrolling. Did you check out like any of the other ones, like Iconoclasts or anything like that?
I did try those. I didn't end up putting those on the list, but I like those a lot. And I was so tempted to put Dead Cells on my list because everyone says it's so great. But honestly, I can't beat it yet. I've tried so hard. So it's one of these where it's like I didn't want to put it on a top 10 best games if I hadn't finished it.
They're apparently going to be patching that too, because it doesn't quite run at 60 frames most times. So they're going to be fixing that apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is a hard game though. It is. It's difficult, but as you get further and further in it, you get better and better stuff. So. Eventually, you become pretty powerful right in the beginning and can roll through stuff. But that's a fun game. It's a good game. So I'm liking it. I know Sean played a bunch of stuff because he put up Okami. I actually bought Okami this morning. I haven't played it yet.
It's good, man. It looks. I think the thing that surprised me the most was how good it looks in tablet or handheld mode. Just because I don't know, you kind of get used to some of the games being blurrier.
Mm-hmm.
Blurry. I don't know if that's a word.
Vaseline smear.
Yeah, like, and I was worried that this would have it, but it looks gorgeous and it plays well. It definitely, like I said in my video, the camera stuff definitely feels dated because it's a game from 2006 and they didn't improve the camera or really do anything with it or give you the option to change anything. But besides that, I mean, it's still a fantastic game.
This is a great PS2 game, so yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been on everything else, hasn't it? At this point.
Yep.
How much is it on Switch?
$20.
20? Yeah, okay, I'm buying that today. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good price. It is. So, it seems like a good game to play in handheld. Did you try any of the touch stuff though?
Yeah, I did
It's supposed to have,
because
touch functionality.
Because when you're doing with the celestial brush, you can do the painting with the touch screen, and it's actually more. I felt it was more accurate. Maybe accurate isn't a good word, but you can draw the stuff with your finger better than you can the analog stick.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was going to probably do is try it the touch function, see how that works out. But,
yeah, it's good though. I great game, and now it's available on another platform.
Cool. What about Rax? What have you been up to, man?
So I've actually been checking out this game Aquamoto Racing for the Nintendo Switch. I've been putting some time into it, just trying to get through all of the different modes, and there's a lot of different unlockables and stuff. I was a big fan of Wave Race 64, so this one kind of caught my eye. I wanted to check it out. Didn't seem like it was very popular, but I wanted to see what it had to offer. It seemed like a pretty interesting title. Also, I've been just playing some other retro things, like I picked up Scarface on the original Xbox, so I can play that in HD because it actually goes up to 720p.
Yep.
So I've been checking out the pound cable with that game specifically, and it looks pretty good. Everybody was always telling me how comparative to Grand Theft Auto, Scarface was like a really good game, so I wanted to check it out. So those are the two main ones that I've been switching back and forth and just working a lot.
Nice.
I put hundreds of hours into Scarface on the Xbox. Like I own every territory, I own every vehicle. My cache is nearly maxed out, and I still boot it up from time to time. Great game, great soundtrack too.
I think I was mostly a San Andreas person back then.
It's so good, man. I love that game.
Yeah, like comparative to the Grand Theft Auto series, like there are some differences. But yeah, like Sean was saying, it's definitely a really good game, especially if you like that style of like open world crime game. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's a pretty solid game for being as old as it is.
Okay, very cool. And it looks good on 720. You have the HDMI cable for it and everything.
Yeah, I was actually very surprised at how good it looks. Like the facial. I don't want to say the animations are good, but the clarity of the facial features are really good. Like you can tell that is, it looks just like Tony Montana from the actual movie, like Al Pacino. The facial structure for main characters at least are very good, but for the most part, it's your average old GTA style, really heavy polygons on a lot of other things. But it looks about as good as an old Xbox game will get, I guess.
Anything else over there, Evan, other than We Happy Few?
Getting back into Street Fighter since Evo's done. I'm trying to learn a new character other than the one that I know. And in the last Spawncast, we brought up the Warframe thing I was working on. Mm-hmm. And I think Rule of Two was talking about how a lot of people who are new to the game fall out of it because of how difficult it is with how much is there to really gather all that information. So I decided to take a second look at how I was going to structure it. And there is just a metric ton of information that Digital Extremes tells no one about.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot of episodes. Actually.
It's going to be an ongoing thing, huh, for Warframe?
Well, I'm going to try to have, I think it's either going to be 6 or 7 episodes total, and I'm going to try to have them all just to drop at the same time. Because the more I look into it, every single topic I've written down has at least 10 to 15 minutes of information involved.
So you're going to do like what to do in the absolute beginning, and then like what to do after that, and then after that.
Yep. Okay. And a little bit of delving in major aspects of the game that they talk nothing about.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be looking for that information when that game drops. That'll be interesting to see on the Switch, actually. That'll be fun. I checked out Flipping Death, played a bit of that. It's all right. It has this weird mechanic where you flip the whole world around, and almost like that Paper Mario style on the Wii, where you would kind of go 3D, except you flip it around from the land of the spirits to like the land of the living, and you take people over to kind of like solve puzzles and stuff. It's a very weird game, weird art style, but it's okay so far, I guess. And then did anyone check out Valkyria Chronicles 4, the demo?
Oh shit, I meant to do that.
Yeah, I was playing. I played the demo. Actually, the progress carries over to the full game, and you actually can unlock a special accessory from playing the demo. But if anyone played the first one, whether it was on the PC, on Steam, or the PS3, it plays very similar to the first one.
Pretty good.
So you might like that. I don't know. It's always been a weird blend of action, RPG, strategy style games, but with military concepts. So.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I like the first one. I didn't actually play the other two, but everyone says I didn't miss anything. The first one was kind of right in the middle, I think, with its concepts, but I thought it was cool because it was unique from pretty much any other strategy game. And it's not necessarily Final Fantasy Tactics where you go around, you pick a menu, and then tell them to do it, and they do it. You actually aim and shoot at stuff. So
This sounds like a game I would enjoy.
it's fun. It has like the anime aesthetic and art style and everything. It's cool.
And the tactics aspects to it is what was it? It was points based, where you have X amount of like action points, and then as you wear it out going through, that's what causes.
Yeah, when you
character to
choose a
stop.
character, you have a bar at the bottom, and then you can just run for as long as that bar is full, and it keeps slowly draining as you move around on the board. But so you want to get behind cover or something before it runs out. Then you press a button, and then you aim with your gun, and it gives you a chance to. It's like almost kind of like XCOM, but even more actiony than XCOM. Although XCOM was annoying because even if you had your gun right in the alien's face, it was like 50% chance to hit or something like that.
the hidden numbers, even if it's at 100, it was always like a negative 90 that you didn't know about. Yeah,
It's more actiony even than XCOM though. So.
And also, as a fun hidden gem, Vice from Skies of Arcadia is in there. Like, actual Vice
really?
is in there with his actual eye patch. He talks like him. He has the swords and everything.
That's where I thought I saw some screenshots or artwork for that at one point. Yeah. I was trying to figure out, they looked familiar. I was like, what is that from? Okay, Skies of Arcadia. That makes sense. Okay, yeah. That's cool. Oh, that's neat. At least they're doing something with that franchise a little bit then.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen anything since, but at least he's in there, and it's cool seeing him in HD, you know?
Yeah, I played the first chapter on the channel and thought it was pretty cool. It runs fine on the Switch. It's not as visually good as the PS4, obviously, but it ran fine. A little blurry, though, I will say that. So, environments, anyway. The characters looked okay, I guess. Let's get into some of the topics for the week. It'll probably end up being a shorter show, like we were talking about, probably about an hour long, so it won't be as long, just because it's pre-recorded and everything, and we won't have questions from the audience. Evan has a few from the Discord, but no questions from the live audience or anything like that. So let's start with the IGN controversy, I guess. We can talk about that. I know OJ wanted to talk a bit about it too, but he's actually not here right now or yet. We might still try to get him in here. We'll see. But IGN controversy, it was found out that their Nintendo editor, Philip Mewson, pretty much plagiarized almost word for word. I mean, it was concept, everything, for Dead Cells from Boomstick Gaming, was it?
Yeah.
Boomstick Gaming, yes. And took that. I think he reviewed the PC version, and that's why his embargo was earlier, because our embargoes for the Dead Cells one was like August 6th, but if you just did gameplay, you could put it out, I believe it was August 4th. That's why the gameplay video showed up on a lot of people's channels and stuff ahead of time, and then you could do the review. So what's everyone think of this? It seems like the internet pretty much beat up Philip real good on Twitter, on YouTube, on pretty much every platform, I think, right? And then IGN let him go. IGN did the right thing not mentioning his name, though, in the press release. I will say that. That was a good idea because people were looking to do everything. People were looking, I think, at one point to dox him, to do everything. So IGN's post went everywhere. So that makes sense why they didn't name him, but they did part ways with them. They had to. There was no other option, I don't think, at that point. Philip will be going away probably for a while, so you won't see him for a bit. I don't know if he'll show up on YouTube again. He might. I mean, he could probably still come back to his channel and not do game reviews or anything, honestly, and I think he'd be okay. He would just get downvoted a lot probably and get yelled at in the comments. But I mean, that just was going to happen. And the one thing I've learned about the internet, though, is there's always something new next week. It's on. The internet's always on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. So honestly, if he just disappears for months, he'll probably come back and people might even forget who he was. But
Maybe
not
even a
everyone.
week.
Yeah. Well, not everyone. I mean, you'll still have people in the comments stuff. But honestly, if he didn't review games or anything going forward, even if he didn't even do games on his YouTube channel, he'd probably still at least be able to somewhat be back. But what do you guys think about the whole situation?
It sucks, but at the same time, I would say it sucks because I think most of us knew him on at least some of a personal level, some better than others. So when it's someone it's always a shit show.
Yeah, we didn't talk to him as much when he went to IGN because he was so busy there.
Right.
We talked to him a lot more before he went to IGN.
I mean, the thing of it is like you can't do shit like that. And I mean, one of the things that I find interesting is, I think, I did a video on it. Max, you did a video on it. John, you did a video on it. And I saw in some of the comments on John's video where people were like, yeah, RGT threw him under the bus, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like when you have a situation, especially with someone that you're, at least an acquaintance with, people handle situations differently. I've always been, a sort of, tough love person, whereas other people are, they don't do that. And that's fine. Different strokes for different folks. And I don't think any of us wanted to, have his world come crumbling down. But in the same breath, you got to call out shit like that, because if it wasn't someone that we knew, it probably would have been more intense, and it probably would have been more, more anger based because of the situation. So, at the end of the day, he fucked up basically. If this has happened before, I know I saw rumors. I think it was Nintendo Life said that he plagiarized.
Kotaku figured it out.
Called out the Nintendo Life thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they found it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if he'd been doing it before, I guess you never really know how people get into these situations. And, it sucks, but it is what it is. And, life goes on. You fucked up. Maybe you've done this before in the past. Maybe this shows that you weren't necessarily cut out for things like this because of whatever reason. So, not a knock against him as a person, but as a video game industry person in any sort of regard, he's probably done. And I don't know, maybe that's the best thing for him.
So my thing is, I'm very sympathetic in this whole situation. It's hard to hate him completely because although this is such a huge screw up, I feel like he just was in over his head. I mean, I can't help but see it any other way, but I bet he probably thought it was going to be like 20% harder than YouTube or 50% harder than YouTube, and he got the job, and it turned out that it was like 5,000% harder.
Well,
than
he
YouTube.
told me he thought he was going to be like doing a lot of video stuff, and when he got there, he doesn't do any video stuff. He just did writing and stuff like that, and he was like, "Oh, I know."
Well, and he told us all sorts of stuff that I won't repeat all of it, but he did tell us all the time about just having like 15 projects dropped on his desk and having to deal them in one day. Of just literally like, okay, you need to write these 6 news reports and turn them in, and we'll space them out, and then look at these press releases, and then also start looking at this port, and then go like organize and host the Nintendo Voice Chat podcast. So I think it was one of the things where I don't want to insult the guy's work ethic or anything, but I think he was too deep. I just don't think he had the tools for it, and he tried to cut a corner once and it cut him back, Yeah,
I think that's exactly what I was going to add to it, just like what Max was saying, because like if you really think about it, even when he was talking to us last time when we were all on the Spawncast together, he was talking about the pressure that that they had at IGN, just like trying to meet these deadlines and having all these projects. And basically like, it kind of seems like, oh, well, let me just get this review, chop it up a little bit, change a few words here and there, meet the deadline just so I can stay afloat. And it just kind of,
it reminds me, I read a thing about how this is going to sound like ridiculousness, but I read a thing about how most people who are addicted to meth are totally normal, like office workers. Like people will literally smoke meth just to try and get deadlines and then like live a normal life at night of like, okay, I'm going to watch TV and decompress so I can actually handle my job. And I'll just do a little bit of meth. Like most meth people are not like the crazy tweaked out weirdos you see on TV. They're normal people who just cannot handle their own stress. And it sounds like his meth pipe was cheating on reviews.
I mean, a lot of
job,
it
for that job though is exacerbated because they're headquarters in one of the most expensive places to live in the country, and they're not paid like anything for what they do and the amount of work they do. So it's almost like a trap where you have to keep working, and if you're stuck or you're not going to be able to hand something in, that could mean drastically negative things for your life there. So it's got that like extra edge.
I mean, is this like a reflection of IGN on how they're treating their employees as well? Because I mean, have you guys seen all of the people that have been posting videos? This is why I left IGN. I've been seeing it pop up, like a few female employees that left. Like I've seen quite a few videos of people going on YouTube of that. You know what I mean?
I've talked to a lot of people I know about here and there who work at IGN and GameSpot. And the main thing I actually hear from people is that it's hard, but it is a job that's manageable, and it is a very rewarding job. It's one of the things where I've used this analogy of YouTube when I first started it, and it first started really blowing up for me. It felt like I had to lift a car every week. And every week I was like, I don't know if I can do it this week. I'm getting tired. And I still managed to do it. And I've heard that like GameSpot and IGN are jobs like that where it's difficult and it's a heavy boulder, but as long as you focus, you can do it. And it's extremely rewarding. And I just think that some people are able to swim in that. And on the topic of price, I think an extra amount of pressure to him was, if I remember correctly, he sold his house and like moved his wife and everything. Like Philip gave everything to get that job.
Yeah.
And once he got it, I think as soon as he started slipping behind it all, his brain just went into panic mode.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah, I think IGN's more of a stepping stone rather than a final destination. Unfortunately, there's probably a lot of people online who see it as like the dream job. But I would say honestly at this point, you can do YouTube and work on that for yourself and probably have a better experience doing that, to be honest. But I know there's a lot of people who want to get in the industry, and IGN, I guess, is a good way to get your foot in the door. But even Kotaku posted something at one point about trying to unionize like the gaming industry or something. Because apparently at Kotaku, I don't really know where Kotaku's based out of, because you'd have to look to see what their the average cost of living is where they're based and people have to move to. But they said their average starting salary, I think, is $50,000.
Yeah, they did I thought they had like a writer's strike or something at one point to bring that up for everyone.
I saw Jason Schreier talking about that, how the average, or I guess it's just the starting minimum is $50K a year, which is pretty good for that.
Half of the Kotaku writers, half of their like main writers are remote. They literally just live in different spots where they need them to report from. So they don't also have the same stipulation of physically having to go in the office and talk to your boss. So they don't have the same living expenses.
Yeah, because $50K in San Francisco is nothing. Like you would struggle heavily. That's like out there, I don't know how you'd survive even on that. Like I think you'd have to make, probably in San Francisco, probably a minimum of $80,000 a year to live.
Yeah. I have a friend out there that programmed for one of the biggest sort of like online defensive companies, like any kind of online sort of firewalling and stuff. He programmed for them, and he lived in a shoebox. He was like head of one of their major groups, and he made tons of money. He couldn't move out of a small apartment. It's crazy out there. Yeah,
it's expensive to live out there. But I don't know. I think at this point, also, I think people wanted to. I think it blew up as big as it did because it was IGN. You know, people like to kick IGN a lot and beat them up and everything, and that was just that was easy for a lot of people to attack IGN over. But IGN's made up of a bunch of different, essentially, contractors, so it's there's a lot of people that work there. So unfortunately, to a lot of people, you see like Brian Altano, Max Scoville, those people are even, probably have tainted opinions of them now too, just because they're associated with IGN, despite this just being essentially a rogue writer who did this. So. I wouldn't fault everyone at IGN or anything for this, because it's pretty much all Philip's fault at that point. So, like, I don't think people at IGN were like, "We're gonna go copy this. Let's do it."
Yeah, so, no one will catch us.
Yeah, so I wouldn't go that far, everyone. And because I even saw on IGN when they were posting gameplay for something completely different, I think people were still commenting down in the comments. Oh, where'd you copy this from? Stuff like that. So.
Dude, all their live streams, all their videos, all of everything are getting downvoted into oblivion. And did you see, I went and looked at all the IGN people's Twitters, and they're just like, cool, we're literally going to be pulling this boulder for years now.
Yeah, so it's...
unfortunately, it is maybe not to the degree that people are making out to be, but it does sort of reflect on them. I mean, you have a manager of a McDonald's, say something bad to a customer. Oh, McDonald's cusses out customer. I mean, it's just how it is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not to the degree that some people are making it out to be. Like,
I don't even know how the because he told me at one point that there was a review editor you hand your review into, and they go over it and everything, and then make corrections or change this or that or the other. Apparently, getting a score finalized is very difficult there because it goes back and forth a lot. He ended up with a 9.7 there, but he told me on July. I had a Twitter message from him July 17th. We were talking about Dead Cells, and he says like, this might be my first 10. So he had been playing it for a while. So I don't know how he came to the conclusion to lift the guy's review. But he had told me before, and I don't know how the review editor would be able to know that it was pulled from a video when even if you typed it all out and ran it through like a plagiarism check or whatever, it wouldn't come back with anything because there's nothing on the internet with that in writing. It was all like talked over a video. So that's probably I guess maybe a loophole or something he was figuring would work out. But now with YouTube, it's pretty easy now for people to spread the word. So
I just definitely have to say a million times over, like, good job on Boomstick Gaming more than anything, because I feel like if he hadn't called that out, nobody would have known. Like, his audience's voices may not have gotten loud enough for that to got the reach it was. So good on him for making such a clear and concise video so quickly. Like props to him. He handled that situation better than anybody else could have. Like, if I were in that scenario and someone stole my video, I'd be like, top 10 reasons you're going to chew on my balls, IG. It would have been not a mature video.
He got a bunch of followers and subscribers and stuff for it, too, so good for him.
Yeah.
It worked out. It worked out for him, I guess, kind of. Technically it did,
Well, they said they were in talks with possibly giving revenue for that video to him. There was some kind of talk going on.
I mean, at this point, he's probably like, I'm good, guys. We're good. Thanks. Thanks. We're good. Yeah, so he was actually probably one of the nicest people out of everything. There were a lot of people just getting mad for him. He was like, I don't really want Philip to get fired or anything. But he had to be fired for that, obviously. You can't keep him around.
Last thing before we move on,
yeah.
I suggest everybody check out Boomstick Gaming's channel. He made a video called support me on Patreon.
I saw that.
He turns around and goes, hey, check out some of my recent videos. And it's a bunch of clips of IGN videos.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good. So move on from that. What do you guys think about Emuparadise getting shut down? The reason people go to it being shut down, they pulled their ROMs essentially completely. More than likely, it's because of the recent legal battles and stuff some sites are going on. They explained it all in their post, how the risk of all that just isn't worth it to them anymore. And they still have their forum. They still offer emulators and everything. So there's still, I guess, kind of a reason to go there if you need an emulator. You really enjoyed frequenting the forums, but that's a shame. Emuparadise has been around for a long time.
18 years.
Yeah, a long time. So this is kind of a big deal in that sense, because I actually remember that when I was very young. That was one of the first emulator ROM sites I came across way back in the day. So what do you guys think about this whole situation? It's almost like ROMs are surprisingly now being a target and kind of going away a bit. I don't know. It's weird. That was one of the biggest archives I've ever seen of ROMs.
Yeah, I think I made a video on it at like 3 a.m. because I couldn't sleep, and I uploaded it today or Thursday. I think people are sort of underestimating the impact. A lot of people are like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, but it's if it's 1 or 2 websites. I don't think anyone expected any websites to shut down in fear of what happened to Love ROMs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think they expected just Love ROMs to go away and then more sites will pop up. But if a big website like that is starting to feel the burn, that's going to trickle down. And honestly, it could be a very different landscape for ROMs and emulation in 6 months from now if, other websites follow suit, because there's obviously a reason why they decided to do this. Could there have been some sort of C&D sent to them, or something, or maybe they heard something through the grapevine? Who knows? Because all we have to go on is their press release. But I don't know. I think it's a bigger deal than people are making it out to be, though.
Okay.
Could have been they heard, this website's getting sued for over $100 million. I guess we should probably pack up and just kind of sit tight for right now.
Right.
This reminds me very much of my old roommate was obsessed with VHS collecting. He actually had thousands of VHS, and he told me about the fact that when they really started cracking down on bootlegging and anybody trying to post that content online and seeing the first DMCA's, a lot of these movies ended up getting lost forever because people were literally creating digital archives of games and movies that there was almost single digits of sometimes. Like there's this guy who made this really weird horror movie called Black Devil Doll from Hell, which is basically about a little puppet that fingers chicks and stuff, and it's super evil, and it's super rare, ultra rare, and you can't post it online anywhere. So if you can't find a physical copy of it, it's just gone forever. And I feel like we're going to start seeing that, as we know we're always talking about cartridge rot. All of these NES games, all these Genesis games are going to all start dying out eventually, and when that happens, there is no digital backup anymore.
With the Star Wars movies, the original Star Wars
yes,
cuts,
I remember that.
Before when Jabba the Hutt was an actual human being, and there weren't like dinosaurs walking around Tatooine like near the cantina and stuff. Like, you can't see those anywhere unless you have like a laser disc or a VHS of it from like a long time ago.
Yeah, same with the Doctor Who stuff, because I know they had this push to try to get anyone with VHS of old Doctor Who episodes to hand them in so they could make them digital, because they were all vanishing.
What I would do is I would get you can actually get a little board from, I think it's Infinite NES Lives or something like that. You can actually dump your ROM cart. You can actually dump your actual cartridges to your computer with it. So might be worth looking into just in case if you're concerned about your collection having cartridge rot or stuff like that. But we saw Nintendo even at one point allegedly go and download a ROM from one of these sites and then sell it on the eShop. So, I mean, what happens if all these sites go away? There's no easy way to get it, and then Nintendo goes to release something and they're like, oh, we can't find this game. What do we do? Do they just recreate it?
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's pretty weird. Like, and it's like there are tons. Like, can I play Super Mario Sunshine right now on anything? No, I can't. There's no way for me to play Super Mario Sunshine, to buy a copy of that game so that it gives Nintendo any money. There's literally zero way to do that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yet I can't. You would rather me buy it from some random person than download it. Like, what does it matter to you? You're not making money off of it. I don't know. It's such a and there's other examples. There's tons of Nintendo games that aren't available on an eShop. There is no fucking eShop on the Switch. There's one on the 3DS for NES and the SNES. There's one on the Wii U. That's it. Like, I don't know. It seems like you can say something, you can do something, you're within your legal right to do it, but is it worth doing?
My thing is, it drives me nuts that we're not seeing companies resell this stuff. Like, that's my biggest hill that I die on, is I'm obsessed with Final Fantasy. I've bought in Final Fantasy 7 like 15 times. I own the physical version, the PlayStation 3 version. I bought it on my PS Vita, and then I bought the PS4 port. Each one of those are very minimal upgrades. They're basically just HD resolution, and the later versions have cheat codes. But I still buy it for $10 or $15 every single time because you're even providing it. It's something that people want. So I hate that. Like, I do have that axe to grind of, I hate that we still don't have Virtual Console. Like, if you're going to burn this stuff out of existence, let me buy it. Don't just make it so it doesn't exist anywhere.
Yeah, I'd like to see Mario Sunshine get that sweet HD remake.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Because all they're doing at this point is changing the market landscape for that type of thing. Because even if the websites are gone, USB sticks exist. People can go to conventions. There might be people selling that crap there. I went to an art convention a long time ago where a guy was selling USB sticks with full runs of comic books on them. That money wasn't going to the artist. That money wasn't going to anyone. He was just selling them. So like, it just changes that. And
there's still torrent sites. There's still places to find everything, even if all the websites went away. People would still share them.
Yeah,
I've checked a few of the ROM sites I used to use. They're still up and running. So. It's fine for now, I guess.
So we want to move on to the Smash Bros. Direct, because I know that was very exciting for people this week who are really into Smash Bros. Even if you weren't, I guess, because Castlevania is now in there. Apparently, Rax almost got in trouble at work. Apparently, hanging up on customers over there.
Yeah, you can't get in trouble when you're the boss. But yeah, I was on the phone and this lady was like asking me about PS3s or something. And I just see like Simon rip off the hood, like the hooded like garment that he was wearing, and I just see it. I was like, and I just like end up like hanging up on this lady on accident, and I'm just like, freaking out. I'm telling you, like, I haven't been that excited for any kind of announcement, and like, I can't even remember the last time I got like jumping up and down excited, because I'm very aligned with Sean on this when it comes to Smash Bros. Like, I'm not the biggest Smash Bros. Player by any means, but when you take one of my favorite things of gaming of all time and add it into this game, it gives me more incentive to play. And like, I know that a lot of people were just like, it's just another character, whatever. But to me, it's a huge deal. Like, I don't know.
So Simon kind of leaked out ahead of time because they put the music kind of leaked out. But I think the thing that everyone was surprised about was that Richter is an Echo Fighter.
Oh yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
That's insane.
Yeah, Alucard's an assist trophy. And the stage looks awesome.
Amazing.
Oh, and Luigi got killed brutally. So it was he
Actually,
died. He was scared to death, and then they still ripped his soul out of him.
Okay, so check this out. So I don't know if you guys noticed this, but towards the end of that reveal, you see the God mask come into the window, and you see purple like kind of bleeding out of its eye. And the God mask, I don't know if you guys are like familiar with a lot of the Castlevania lore, but it's believed to bring people back to life. Now, what do you guys think that's any kind of like hinting at like the purple?
That's actually a question from we have 3 questions from Discord for this specifically. People are saying the blurred mode says spirits. We've seen multiple characters die in the reveals, like Mario getting stabbed and Luigi having his soul ripped out. What if the story is saving all the other characters from the afterlife and bringing them back, hence unlocking them?
I 100% believe that. 100%.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Well, and I'd also like it if we basically fight a bunch of monsters and stuff, and then we end up fighting their shadow form to basically beat their evil and bring them back to the land of living. Like, I 1,000,000% think that's what it's going to be.
This has to have a single player, right? Because it's Smash Bros. Ultimate. It is the ultimate version of Smash. I mean, you have to have a single player then, right?
Yeah, but how ridiculous can it be? Like, is it just going to be a story, or are you going to be able to select places to go and things to do?
I don't know.
How in-depth are they really going to get?
I like that theory, though, where you're bringing people back to life to put them onto the character select, because they said that it's going to start with the 8 original characters from like the 64 version, and you keep tacking people on. That would be really cool if you start as like Mario and you go around like bringing people back to life.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea. I hope they do that. I really do. The internet really seemed to explode about King K Rool coming into Smash. That seemed to be another one of those characters like Ridley almost that people really wanted in this, but they didn't think he'd ever show up.
That's actually another question. In the clip before King K Rool was revealed, it's been called out as the Rivals montage. Looks like with the inclusion of additional Nintendo villains, they're pushing the Rivals concept. You think this could hint towards a single-player mode, which we're literally talking about now.
Yeah, I think there is a single-player mode in there. Everyone was saying the blur thing probably has something to do with that. More than likely, yeah, they had to blur that out. But
the way that they trolled the audience with King Dedede, like as he like took off the helmet, I was laughing so hard.
You know what they should
when it actually happened, I was like, oh.
You know what they should have done was in the level with Castlevania, they should have had Waluigi show up, making it look like he was going to be in it, and then the Grim Reaper kills him. That would have been awesome.
There's that meme going around where it's Sakurai, and because everyone's zoomed in on the background, and Sakurai has a straight yellow and a straight purple hair. And so someone had it where he's sitting there and he goes, "Since you keep begging me, I have decided to instead kill Waluigi and turn him into these 2 chairs."
I wonder if do you think he will eventually reveal Waluigi before it's all said and done?
I don't. I think it'll be DLC.
You think so?
I don't think they have time. I think the game is
most likely case scenario. It might just be a Luigi Echo. Like they might just do that.
They could do that. He could be a Luigi Echo, I think.
But he's got to have different moves. He's got to be able to throw roses and use his tennis racket. That's my thing. Is as a Waluigi hardcore fan, like that's the only amiibo I really own. I love Waluigi. I want him to be different. I don't want him to be an Echo Fighter.
Okay. Why do you like Waluigi since he's never had his own game?
Because he's such a ridiculous character. I love him because he's the only character that's actually based in absurdism. Like everybody else in the universe sort of actually has a rhyme and a reason. Like even Wario being the evil cousin of Mario, it seems like there's some logic to it. Waluigi is the only character where his name doesn't make sense. His face looks like he stole somebody's nose and it's rotting off. Like he only plays sports, but he sucks at it. Like he's great because he doesn't make sense.
He's hilarious. He has his rose and everything in the tennis. Yeah, he's awesome.
I always loved it. You have to unlock all the taunts one by one in Mario Party 6, and I always like his because you can press it at any time, and it goes Waluigi #1, and so I usually just spam tap it. So I go Waluigi, people like stop.
And then the tons of content. Is this going to be is this going to be the fighting game with the most content ever on release? Because they were saying there's 900 tracks of music that equals like 28 hours if you put it all back to back to back to back. And they even showed this. I think it's ridiculous, but you can apparently plug your headphones into your Switch with the screen off and listen to it like it's an MP3 player. I don't think anyone's actually traveling with it like that.
That's actually a thing, though. What is your most anticipated music series in the Smash Ultimate series?
Castlevania.
Yeah.
They have 34 tracks, and they said they were super excited to work on it. That's going to be an awesome set of music there on that level. That is going to be so cool.
We have now confirmed there's only going to be 2 soundtracks from Final Fantasy. I'm hoping, as weird as it is, I'm excited for those. I'm hoping that Square Enix loosens their grip and gives us more. I would love to see like Midgar Stage that has like at least 4 or 5 tracks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. They have that. What are we up to now? How many characters? I know it's over 70, right? It's like 73 or 74, something like that with Echo Fighters. It's a lot of characters.
All that matters to me is 103 stages.
Yeah, that was crazy. When they showed all this stuff, it was like, wow, this is insane how much stuff is in this game. And then we have, we're so used to fighting games where they have 2 seasons of DLC and they only put like 12 characters, 16 characters to start or something like that. And they're dropping 70 plus characters, just a ton of content. Did you see all the customization options and everything too? And they have the training mode where it looks like a blueprint almost in the background, and you can see like down to how far they'll fly based on percentages and everything. This is a very deep game. They have the party mode almost where you switch between people, and you have like what like in sports you have like the suicide pool where you pick teams and you can't pick them again. They have that kind of for the characters where the characters get eliminated, you can't use them again, and it is a really, really serious looking game in terms of content. We still don't know anything about the online or the single player that we assume is in there.
Yeah, I think this is. I've seen people floating this around, and I've drunk the Kool-Aid in this. I think this is going to be the last Smash Bros.
It should be. It should be.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, they can't follow this.
Do you need another one though? When you can just build off of this as almost this could be Nintendo's first real live service type game where they continue to add characters, and they just simply take that game when the next system comes out, put it all into one, port it to the next one, add characters. When the next system comes out, put all that into one, port it. And you just continue on with this one. I mean, Melee's been at Evo for what, 17 years now or something crazy?
Yeah.
So as long as we get an Octopath character, I know that's probably going to be DLC down the line because I don't have time to make it. But give me an Octopath character where each of my attacks I become a different one of the heroes.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. But like that's all stuff they can do. And honestly, if they don't have to continue working on the engine and everything over and over again, all the little tweaks and everything like that, when you rebuild it, they could probably spend a lot of time on some new characters and get creative with it even. So I think that's kind of where they should go at this point. I mean, how many Smash Bros do you think he has left in him, honestly, with how hard he works on it?
7.
He works pretty hard on these at this point. I feel like he should be able to kind of ride off in the sunset, collect his royalty checks, and that's about it. So
I really need to.
Yeah, I like the idea of a service-based one where they just keep moving it over. I think that'd be really cool. I think that'd be good.
Guys, we got some breaking news here, and I don't know how you guys are gonna handle it. This I'm absolutely shocked right now. But Steep has been officially canceled for the Nintendo Switch.
No!
I saw that earlier.
Yeah, I was actually told about this about a month ago.
No, how could you not tell us all?
It was pretty. I mean, I even mentioned it at one point, but it was pretty obvious. I had a few people that were talking about it. Who you call it? Liam Robertson said he's known about it since the beginning of the year. It's pretty obvious that game. I mean, it was pretty obvious that game wasn't coming out. But I was surprised they never made a statement. I think they wanted us to forget about it. I think that was the plan. Yeah. Maybe they'll all forget about it. All we showed them was a logo. People are also comparing it to Dark Souls. Don't compare it to Dark Souls. We've seen Dark Souls actually be played. We never even saw a screenshot for Steep. So I have a feeling they just couldn't get it to run on the Switch, and that was kind of the end of it. So
before we move too far along from the Smash Brothers stuff, the last question I have here. Curious, do you all think that there were a lot of Easter eggs foreshadowing of future Switch games in the Smash Direct, like Dark Samus being the main antagonist in Metroid Prime 4, or just driving interest into a possible Metroid Prime trilogy, Konami possibly with a new remastered Castlevania, or how about many hitting Luigi's Mansion on the Switch?
Castlevania was a rumor last year for the Switch. I remember that. There was a rumored game for that, and they would have already planned it before this character showed up. This character would be, in some way, advertisement for their game that would release like next year or something. They didn't. It's not like they put the character in there. They're like, oh yeah, let's do Castlevania now.
Yeah.
Castlevania is actually the only one that I do think. I've heard some rumblings that Konami is currently working on 2 Castlevanias for the Switch. They're very early stages development, and I've heard one is a collection of sorts. So I don't know if that means it's going to be a remaster the way, this is the Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles is actually like a remaster of Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night. So it's not quite the same game. So maybe it'll be something like that. And the other one I don't know anything about. So I don't know if the other thing is a port of the cell phone game or if it's going to be something new or 3D. But I've heard that they do have 2 things cooking. But I don't know what that means yet.
I play that Dracula X game before I go to bed.
It's a good one. It's so good.
Castlevania would sell well. That would do really well on the Switch if they actually do that. But I don't know about
There's
Metroid.
a Castlevania coming to the Switch.
Yeah. I don't know if Metroid Prime 4 is gonna go down that road. But I mean, we know nothing about it, so it could. It's possible. I don't even think we'll see anything new about Metroid Prime 4 until maybe next E3. I think it's gonna be a while still. I think they literally showed us the logo like only a year after development or something. I don't think it was very long. So we'll probably see it. I think it's gonna be next holiday's release, Metroid Prime 4.
We haven't even seen much. We haven't even seen any gameplay for that, have we?
No, nothing. We just saw the we saw the logo. That was it.
Yeah.
So that very early. They told us about it like a long time ago, just because fans
was
wouldn't
completely
be quiet.
absent from this year's E3, wasn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't there. The new Star Fox game wasn't there. Smash was there. And also,
Was it? I didn't know.
Yeah, Damon X Machina is one that people shouldn't sleep on either, because I keep hearing more and more about the game, and it looks pretty awesome for Armored Core fans. Did
Armored Core fans, that game looks sick. Like, I don't care about mech games at all, and I think that game looks crazy.
It's because they kind of went into more of the anime style, and it looks much faster than an Armored Core. Armored Core, I don't think people remember, it was actually kind of they were slower, more clunky games.
The mechs are just a visualization, and the gameplay is really what's selling it, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, they have.
But I really like Gundam, so.
Oh yeah, this actually looks closer, I think, to more like Gundam was more. They were more agile. It looks more like that when they showed the gameplay, and they showed your pilot gets out of the mech, and you actually like build your mech up and you customize it and everything, and you customize your pilot. So it looked like there was a lot to it. So that looked kind of cool. Did anyone see Red Dead Redemption gameplay video that released today? Anyone watch it?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
I'm ready for this game because it looks really, really cool. When the gameplay release was shown, because I was a little iffy on how deep they were going to get with the game, it looks like it's going to be a pretty deep game. There's going to be a lot to this thing. And just, I mean, the visuals that they showed, it looks like they're going to be taking advantage of the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro really well. They have it like almost like full RPG elements to it, where you're like actually like you're keeping morale up in your base and everything in your camp. You decide if your main character is good or bad morality wise. So it looks like it's going to be pretty cool.
Did you see there's tons of interaction functions? That's the most interesting thing is when you're walking up to NPCs, you can choose to have your gun out and do like more hostile things or put it away. And then it looks like in certain situations, things will escalate towards violence. And then you decide whether you're going to fist fight them. And it looks like there's like a fist fighting system where you're actually on the ground, like wrestling and pressing buttons. Or if you want to like then get out your gun and shoot them. And I don't know, it looks like they're really trying to make it where you have tons of options for every situation instead of shoot them or shoot them less.
They were touting how apparently all of your options that you do and decisions will affect everything in the world around you. I want to see how far that actually goes. We've heard that about games a million times now.
The town only has 80 people living in it. If you kill them all, the town's empty.
So I want to see how predetermined some of that stuff is. But Rockstar's been working on this for a long time, I think. So I'm ready to see what their next game is, because I think they got a little almost complacent with GTA 5's online and how well that sells and how much money it makes. So we'll see if they can prove everyone wrong and release a just an amazing open world style Red Dead Redemption game.
All I know is I better be able to find a unicorn in the game like I could with Undead Nightmare and ride it around.
You know there's going to be like urban legend myth things in this, just like there is in every Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly.
UFOs, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, all that stuff.
Yep.
You'll see something along that line in the game, and it's gonna be cool. I'm looking forward to it. It's not until the end of October, and October is actually pretty stacked with bigger budget games with Call of Duty, which I care less about Call of Duty now after the beta. I know that the idea was for it to go the opposite direction, where I care more now. I care less, and Battlefield is more on my radar now, so we'll see about that. But those 3 games, pretty big, and then Mega Man 11, which is getting a demo next month.
Really?
Is it?
Yes. So beginning of, I think September 4th is when the demo comes out. I saw it earlier.
Platforms or just certain ones?
What? I think all of them. I think all of them are.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I got really excited, so I was like, sweet. They're probably going to give us one robot level. I'm going to blast through it. Excited.
And what you and I saw from the guys talking about it, because they played it, the levels are actually kind of long, so I wonder which
that
level
was Maximilian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. They said they said levels were longer than they thought they'd be. So that was exciting. They're probably going to give us one level. It'll probably be like a 10 to 15 minute thing, and we'll get to play through it, have some fun. Maybe they'll hide something in there or something. Maybe it'll transfer over to the full game. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be really cool. I love, we're getting back more and more to them releasing, these companies doing demos a lot more. Is that me? Yeah. Is that just me now? I'm realizing this. We're getting more and more demos now than I remember us ever getting.
Well, for the longest time, they kind of had them, but they just called them betas.
I should say this generation. So I'm sorry, because back in the day, we would get PlayStation Underground discs or Xbox discs or anything like that.
I used to steal that. Every time I'd be at the grocery store, I'd be like,
"So bookstore,
not the disc out, run."
This guy.
I think my mom wouldn't buy me the magazine, man. I had to get it somehow. Shit.
The thing that people forget is for a long time, people were afraid that demos were making games sell worse. There was some weird study that came out around the release of Resident Evil 5 that said games with demos do not sell as good day one. And so after that study came out way back in the day, everybody got terrified of it. So people purposely stopped doing it. And then a couple of years ago, we started seeing the rise of the betas, and now we're seeing actual demos again. And I think the nature around it's different, and I think it's actually helping sales again, where it's like if you get your demo out like a full month early, more people understand what your game is and they're more likely to pre-order it.
I think it really helped Octopath Traveler. I mean, we had 2 demos. One of them was the first 3 hours of the game, and that game has been selling like hotcakes. Like there are over 1 million copies sold. A mild restock in Japan, went back up on media crates this morning when we took a look at that, and big restock apparently is coming to Japan next week for them. So we'll see how well it keeps selling.
I completely think that RE7 sold as well as it did because of the beginning hour demo. The fact that they had this prequel demo that took place before the game starts with a totally different character, and it kept updating to have this new mysterious thing here, and eventually there's a monster in the basement. It created this air around it of like, okay, like I definitely need to buy this game and figure out how it ends.
I think
I feel like PT. I feel like PT's demo kind of played into that as well, because people were like, "Man, why are we not getting PT now?" It's like, Resident Evil 7 shows up with that demo and it's slightly similar, just in terms of like a first-person view, and I'm just like, that's why I bought Resident Evil 7. Like, because if you had told me that was a Resident Evil game and nothing else, I would have just been like, I don't know if that's Resident Evil to me. Like, it looks cool, but I don't know.
Actually, based on the Octopath thing, another question. Based on how well the Octopath Traveler did on the Switch, what games do you think Square should port first to the system?
Like port or make new ones? Oh, I mean, port, you got to get Chrono Trigger on there.
He said port, yeah. I know someone said Chrono Trigger. Honestly, I would rather than just keep porting, genuinely try to keep putting new stuff out. I mean, Octopath really sold because it's a new IP, it's a new idea. It has a lot of old mechanics, yes, but it's something fresh. It's not just like, oh, I've played that 100 times.
I don't know how they haven't moved any of the Kingdom Hearts games yet. Even just the collection of 1 and 2. That seems like easy money on the Switch. They didn't even give Xbox users the collection. Everyone's pointed this out by now, but they didn't bring the collection over, but they're bringing 3 over. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know if Sony and them have like a handshake agreement or something on that, but That's really weird. But they have a massive library of games they could bring over. I mean, their PS1 days were full of experimentation in the RPG genre, so they could bring some cool stuff over, I think.
Well, I guess off the cuff, I'd love to see Xenogears come over, because that's a game that looks great in HD. Actually, the mixture of sprites and then 3D robots would look fantastic on the Switch. And then also, I really want to see Bravely Default. I feel like Bravely Default and Bravely Second Layer. I feel like those games sold better than they expected, but on the Switch, it would find an all new
They keep
audience.
teasing it too. They did it. They've done it twice now. So.
Yeah.
What if instead of the Secret of Mana remake, we get a completely new Secret of Evermore?
Well, they need to bring over that. Yeah, that'd be cool. But they need to bring over that collection now that you bring that up, Rex. There's this Secret of Mana collection still stuck in Japan, and that has the Seiken Densetsu 3 on it. It's still stuck in Japan. So I don't know what's going through their head with that one. Even if it was just a digital release, they need to do something with that. That's crazy. Yeah, they have a lot of games they could bring over though, and they should. I think they're getting on it right now. I think they realize something with Octopath. So
They should.
I also think some of these companies overthink the whole demo thing. Honestly, if your game's good and people have a reason to buy it, they're gonna buy it. Mm-hmm. This is the way it is. I don't think a demo is gonna. I mean, if it's bad, then yeah.
Well, I imagine the fear comes from where the demo takes place. Because if it takes place in the beginning and you feel like in your game the beginning's a little too slow compared to what it does become, because they have that whole like game theory escalation of action. Like maybe you don't buy it because it doesn't feel as pressuring, or I don't feel like I'm as powerful as they show in the trailers. For some reason, people seem to disconnect. Like, I will become that powerful. I will hit that point. So sometimes it depends on the game, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you admit, my girlfriend's recently playing through Horizon Zero Dawn again, and I'm watching her do a second playthrough of it. And the beginning is so slow because you're playing as little kid Alloy and just wandering around and investigating stuff. If they made a demo at the beginning of that game, I would not have bought it. I would have been like, nah, I'm all right.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. They'd have to set up a whole chunk of the game just for the demo, and give you certain weapons and stuff like that to make it work. But like even the Crysis demo back in the day on PC, I think that one was an interesting case. I think a lot of people just wanted the game just to see if their computer could run it, so they just got the demo and they were like, okay, that's all I wanted to see. I don't need the game. If you guys remember that, way back in the day with like that was the early days of video cards. I remember that when video cards were becoming really powerful. And you'd download it to test it out or to see how good your new video card is. But I like all these demos coming out. I think it's cool. I like the ones that carry over your stuff to the full game. I think that's awesome. Or give you a reason to play it by giving you a little unlock. Yeah, like I said, Valkyria Chronicles 4, that's worth checking out because it carries over. I think it gives you. I'm trying to remember how many chapters. I know I played the first 2, and I have to double check if there's another one. But it carries over. It's pretty neat. It's worth checking out. But those are all our topics, actually. Why don't we talk about what we're doing this weekend? Max, what's up? I know you're doing Quakecon.
I'm doing Quakecon, and I guess I'll talk about it since this isn't going to be released for a while, but it seems as if I am allowed to record basically some of the first Rage 2 gameplay ever. I'm going to have, I think, an hour sitting down and playing it, and I get to record all of it in like a private room, and I get to talk about it, I think, on the 21st. And I'm also doing an over-the-shoulder. I have a cameraman who's going with me so that I can film some of the first like real gameplay of Elder Scrolls Blades. I'm real curious about that because right now it's on cell phones, but they're saying that they very shortly after its cell phone release next year, I think, they want to put it on Switch and PS4 and Xbox One like sequentially.
It's supposed to go across everything and work between all of it.
So I'm going to have a cameraman that way I can get real good HD footage. It's going to be off-screen footage of it, but I actually want to, I think I get an hour of private time with that as well. So I also want to try and run around and see if I can smash some pots and upgrade a character and see what that's like and let you know early on if those are going to be awesome.
So that's what I'm doing. Doom Eternal should be there too. You're going to try to squeak some footage with that too?
I just going to the press room. I'm going to see it, but I don't think it's going to be hands-on at all. I think they're just going to do like a 20-minute thing where they show us gameplay.
Okay.
And I am thinking, depending on, I'm trying to go to the Fallout thing. There's going to be a Fallout 76 event there.
Ooh.
And Todd Howard is going to be up on stage. I'm going to be hanging out with Mr. Matty Plays. You know, he's like the huge Fallout YouTuber. We're going to go there together and wander around and see if we can figure out what Fallout 76 is about.
Cool. That'll be neat. That'll be fun to see. I mean, they have the beta coming in October also.
Yes, first on Xbox One. So if you want to be the absolute first person in the world, that's where you got to go.
And they're not going to Steam either. They're skipping Steam, so that'll be interesting too. What about Sean? What we got this weekend?
We will be at Long Island Retro Saturday and Sunday. So make sure you come out to that. Cradle of Aviation, Garden City, New York. Should be a good time. A lot of people will be there. And then I don't know. I'll probably have some videos up on the channel or something. I don't really know. But yeah.
Cool. That'll be fun. Rax, you're gonna be at Long Island also? Retro?
Yep. Exactly.
You coming by to hang out? Are you gonna be there both days?
Yeah, I've actually I'm gonna be there both days. I got a hotel room, so I'm going up Friday night. I'll be staying there Saturday and Sunday, so hopefully I'll be around hanging out.
Cool. And are you
finish off some of my Castlevania collection?
Are you guys gonna be selling there? Booth or anything?
I'm not. My girlfriend's gonna be doing her whole thing.
Oh, so. Cool. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, you guys were selling some cool stuff like pins and stuff last time, right? So
yeah, she does like an enamel pin business, so it's
there
pretty
you
awesome.
Go. So go by tomorrow and check out their booth. It'd be good. And then Evan, you're actually going to be the only one staying back, I guess. What are you doing? We Happy Few and then some other stuff.
I got to rip through this We Happy Few thing because the new one. I said the version I have now looks a lot better than what we thought they were giving us. So I definitely need to rip into it.
You'll probably check out. I mean, you might have already by the time this goes up. Dragon Ball FighterZ on the Switch, since you'll probably check that out Friday anyway. Yesterday.
Yeah, I'll take a crack at that.
And hopefully you get some video footage up or your opinion on it and how it runs and everything. So that'll be good to see. But I guess that's going to do it for episode 71 of the Spawncast. Anything else?
One more Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, one more Discord question.
What's the last
I guess
question?
we didn't really touch on it because, we already talked about the Spyro stuff a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion on Nintendo requiring downloads for physical release games? I'm talking specifically about the Banner Saga trilogy, which originally was digital, so now they're releasing a physical with partial download requirement. What's the point of making a physical version to get a download?
Sucks.
It's dumb.
Yeah, it's not even Spyro on now we see on the PS4 at Xbox One apparently is going to do the same thing. It's weird. I don't really get it.
When they did it with my Mega Man games, I was just like,
I told you, man. Yeah, I bought it and I was like, there's a code in here, and they didn't even give you anything extra. At least the Mega Man Legacy 1 gave you a little cloth. They didn't give me anything.
It reminds me so much. Remember when they were first talking about what at the time we were calling the Xbox 720? And Microsoft, like there were some Microsoft leaks that were saying that they were thinking about the plan was to have the Xbox 720, or now as we know the Xbox One, was going to be purely digital. And they were saying that you were going to buy a box. Yeah. They were saying you'd buy a box at GameStop because they thought it was important to still have a physical representation in stores, and you'd open it up and it would just be a download code inside it. And it sucks that here we are 5 years later and we still ended up with that crappy future.
I mean, GameStop even prints some of the codes out in their receipts now. I don't even know why they have a box. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. That's honestly, that is the future we're going towards, though. I think everyone realizes this by now. That digital future, it's coming up quick. It is. So I don't know. There's no point. I mean, they'll have the stuff on the shelves, I guess, so you can still look at the back of the box and everything. But it's gonna be a weird future.
Well, I remember way back we were talking about the amount of people in this country specifically who don't have internet access and why companies shouldn't switch from physical to just digital. And these might be more of a test to see how much it might hurt sales of some games, just to see like how, if everyone has access somehow, maybe they go to their library and download it or something along those lines. If they went full digital, how much would their market share get impacted? So that might be what's going on here.
It could be, man. I don't know. It's, who knows? I mean, it's Comcast, Verizon, and them need to step up their game. That's all I know.
Yeah, countrywide internet.
Dude. I mean, Max, you were having a hard time with your internet recently.
Yes, a lot. My internet keeps going down randomly, and it's very annoying because it's like this is the only internet service provider in my entire area is Spectrum, and it's one of the things where it's like when your internet goes down, do I just not play? Do I have a dead it drives me crazy stuff like this of like when my internet goes down, if a game requires a download and I'm supposed to be reviewing it, if my internet goes down, even if I have a physical disc, then do I just not get to make a video? Do I not pay my bills that month because internet sucks? Like an all digital future irks me for a lot of reasons, but even on the professional side, it particularly irks me.
Yeah. Yeah, we only have Comcast in our area. There's just one internet. There are some people who have multiple and they don't get it. Yeah, there's a lot of places where there's just one. And that's it. So that's just the way it is. But is that all the questions then, Evan?
That is everything cleared.
Cool. Okay, that's going to do it for episode 71 of the Spawncast. Thanks to Rax for joining us. Where can they find you, man?
You can find me at the channel Rax the Great, no spaces, youtube.com/Rax the Great. Trying to get some more content up. It's been pretty tough just doing the whole running a business thing. But I think in the very, very near future, I will get back to being able to do regularly scheduled uploads and get more live streams up. So I'm looking forward to that.
You have something coming up anyway, right? Your game for the Switch you're checking out?
Yeah, I actually have a little, kind of like a late review of this game, Aquamoto Racing Utopia. Look out for that. So go hit that subscribe button.
There you go. There you go. And what about Max? Where can they find him, man?
YouTube.com/Dreamcast guy. Of course, I've got Quakecon videos coming up. I got a bunch of reviews coming up, and I actually want to do a big live stream when Shenmue comes out. I think I'm going to try and live stream at least like 4 or 5 hours of it because I'm just so freaking excited. So if you're not subscribed already, I'm going to be doing some Dreamcasty good content real soon.
Cool. That'll be cool. And then Sean.
Find me at RGT85. Like I said, I don't really know what's going on video-wise this weekend. But, yeah.
Okay.
There'll be something.
Sounds good. And then you can check Evan out on Twitter, of course. And he's going to be doing We Happy Few. And I assume he probably, honestly, by the time you see this, he might have already done a Dragon Ball FighterZ video just with his thoughts, impressions, and the gameplay and how it plays. So check that out, too. Should be good. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next week, Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. We should be live then. It was a weird situation because we're all away this weekend. So we'll see you guys next weekend, though.